Late breaking news. Chris made the show.
Whoa! What up?
And
What's
he
going on?
died on us somehow.
Yeah, what's going on, fellas?
Look
Hey,
at
man.
those
Good to see you.
guns.
Jeez, he's
He's
ripped,
in
eh?
a blazing.
Man,
Look.
riding bikes really makes you ripped. Holy smokes. Unbelievable.
That or the beard, I can't tell. It might be the
It
beard.
could be both. He's got like the Chad Kroger kind of bust going, if you guys saw that yesterday on the golf course. So that photo that went around. He's looking pretty.
But like way
Pretty
less
guns
plastic
out.
surgery.
Well, yeah, the beard makes you look authentic. That's good.
Yeah.
Welcome to That Helps No One Fantasy Cast on the Dean Blundell Network. I am joined by three friends that I like to say are good friends. We've got the late, but you didn't know, Chris Phillips.
Oh, you didn't know?
Yeah. We all needed to call you, so you'd show up on time.
Sorry, I didn't text you back. I was wiping my butt.
That's cool, man. Just don't get on your phone. That's all good. Use a sanitary wipe. Good bud Steve to my screen right. What's going on, Mr. Alabama?
It's a good day to be an Alabama fan. Not so
I
much
guess so.
Ravens.
All right. I mean, that's great. Hey, Ted, how you doing, man?
Hey, yeah, fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. You guys, I'm excited to talk some football. I know you guys are all excited to talk some football, but I think before we get to business, I'd like to let everybody know, obviously, that you can follow along on YouTube and comment along. I think we're on Twitch again. I'm not sure if that's happening, but follow along, comment if you got questions, comments, whatever. Please join in the conversation. We're more than happy to help you. More than happy to have you, and I will learn English for next week. As popular as this show is, we do have a local celebrity on the show, and I don't know if you guys saw this today, but our main man Ted. Oh, look at this! Look at this guy. That is the fakest smile I've ever seen. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be a lumberjack."
Like, did you bring this stump yourself? You're like, yeah, I'll wear your clothes, but I only sit on stumps, and you were like carrying it around with your big muscles and stuff.
Yeah, just like pop it up on the shoulder like the Ghetto Blaster back in the day.
That's pretty impressive. And then oh, here we go in the stone crew neck. Hey guys, how's it going? Just chilling, man. He cleans up really well. And then
since I'm not a model, who are you looking at there, or do they just ask you to look like off into the abyss, and you're like, yeah, I totally will. Hey,
yeah, they say like, full, you're staring at the camera like super awkwardly, and they're like, yeah, don't look at me. Can you look over there? So you look over there, and then they say, can you just like look up a little bit more, like you're staring into the sun? So I maybe squinch my eyes like it's actually just killing my eyes.
And this is probably the most respectable.
There's no sun there, but the guns are out. Wow. Wow.
Hey, we're going to try to get a little
Okay. We're here for fantasy football talk. That's not going on. Right?
It's good to be back. Chris, welcome back to the show, my man.
Thanks, guys. Missed you last week.
Did you? We missed you, so it's reciprocated. That's good.
To be perfectly honest, no, I was exhausted last week, so I was happy not to be here. I think I told you guys I was asleep on the couch by 8:30 last week. So
I mean, you even told us what time we should meet, and
you picked the time we were supposed to start last week.
Probably.
Pretty sure. That's cool. That's fine. Nobody.
This is like wire to wire for you. You just made it in. Like what's all I got real quick was that there was a strain and a starter issue or something like that. I don't know.
Luckily, we got lucky. It was just the battery, but my wife's car wouldn't start.
That's a shame.
I went and met them at soccer. Olivia had soccer tonight on at the Dilworth Park there.
Yeah.
So I went and met them after work. I was like, I'm not going to stay the whole time. I'll take Carter home, eat some dinner, hang out, and whatever. I wasn't even home yet. Nadine calls me and she goes, I just went to go get a blanket out of my car and like move my car so it was closer to the soccer field, and it won't start. So I was like,
you know, you should put the blanket on the car, warms it up. That's what I find.
You know, maybe it was cold. So I came home, grabbed a sandwich, turned right back around, and headed into town. So
well, we're happy to have you.
At least you're here.
Trey Lance done for the year, or as I was reading, maybe not. Although, let's be honest, he's going to be done for the season. That looked pretty awful. Not fun. I don't care. You don't have to like the 49ers, but that sucks to see that happen to anybody, especially, the promise and the storyline of that season too. Jimmy G obviously comes into that game, and it's not like you have to try very hard, but it looked like a pretty good game for the 49ers, and obviously best wishes to Trey Lance and that he comes back. Really tough break for him. The NFL can be pretty brutal in those first couple weeks, but looks like he'll recover. And he's got, NFL doctors and probably the best trainers and physio that money can buy. So he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Does he have money left though? After he was
That's
making
true. He did get rid of it all a few nights before at a local establishment, looked to be. So an adults only club.
Just reminds me of that old South Park episode where they're just going to inject him with money and that's going to heal him.
Wow, that's one way to do it. Do it.
Granted, that was for something completely different, but I'm sure it still works.
Science is science, guys. It's science is science.
So, cousin Tua had himself a game. He helped me go 2-0 this week. In case you're wondering, he threw 6 touchdowns, and I was a big fan of the first 4. I was giddy after the next 2. So maybe waiting out till round 8? I know it wasn't round 17 because I probably would have got some value out of round 17.
Only if you had a pick in round 17.
That's true. That's true.
Steve, you've watched Cousin Tua more than anybody. Did you know that he was capable of that? I didn't think that his ceiling was quite that high. But that was an impressive showing.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously wasn't happy watching my team get decimated. First time in 12 years that a team has allowed being up by 21 going into the fourth quarter for that lead to dissipate. And they did it in regulation. It wasn't even like, oh, they tied it up. They squeaked out one in overtime. Like they just flat out whooped them at the end. That's not his ceiling, guys. Ryan can be on the Cousin Tua train all he wants.
I don't have a choice.
Look, other people are on this Cousin Tua train. I think I was reading an article from Jordan Schultz saying Tua's breakout performance against the Ravens began in the offseason. It's not his breakout campaign. Like
the defense fell apart too in that. Like there was definitely some blown coverage. Like I don't think if you replayed that game, and there was definitely a few calls that probably should have gone, not calls, but they should have played a few of those a little differently. I don't think it gets that crazy. I think, again, if you were to not replay it completely the same, because obviously the same thing would happen, but I don't think Baltimore, there was definitely a spot where they probably should have just tightened up a little bit. And anything happens on every week, right? Like Jacksonville, look at them. What the heck?
Yeah. So I think it was somewhere either late third or early fourth quarter where they put up Tyreek Hill's stats for the day. And I think the announcer said something, I'm paraphrasing here, but I think he had like 55, 60 yards or something. And he said, oh, if you were a Baltimore Ravens coach and we told you that Tyreek Hill would only have 55 yards going into the fourth quarter, you'd be very happy. He ended with almost 200. They were just like, hey, we've done such a good job. One. Why do we need to keep going?
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah. Tua is not the real deal. I hope he does well because he is an Alabama guy. He seems like a nice dude. He's been getting crapped on ever since entering the league. Hopefully he does well. I just don't see this as his big coming out party.
That's a little early.
Around him is fun to watch if you're a Dolphins fan, though.
Yeah.
So if his ceiling is not that 460 plus campaign, I think we're all in agreement that that's not going to be a regular thing. That's not a regular thing for like 99% of the quarterbacks in this league. So what is his ceiling?
If he can get, from a fantasy football perspective, if he can get you 200 yards and 2 scores, maybe a little bit with his feet, I think you're doing really well.
Wouldn't that be his floor
then? Jacoby Brissett then?
I think he's got a little higher ceiling than Jacoby Brissett.
I would think so too. Yeah,
just
I think he's probably somewhere in the more like 250 range, 2 TDs, that kind of idea.
I mean, before the Ravens collapsed, if you watch his game, most of it was predicated on get the ball into these guys' hands and let them do some damage. It wasn't like, I'm going to have a perfect out route at 15 yards every time and hit guys on dimes. It was,
But that's what
here's
they've got Tyreek and Waddle for, though, too. Like, I mean, it's not just him. It's not. I mean, as great as Tom Brady is, you still need guys that can catch the ball. Make some moves. There's every quarterback. Like, I mean, Lamar Jackson's an absolute beast, but you still have to have guys that can catch the ball. You still have to have guys that make those extra moves. It's not always going to be all on the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's a great block. Sometimes it's a running back that just happens to see a hole. Like it is that group game. And I mean, Tua had a good game. It's week 2 though. Once you get to like week 5, week 6, that's where we really start to see essentially what a team or a quarterback looks like. So was it great? Absolutely. I mean, I'd probably be one of anybody. You'd all be thrilled to have a guy like that because it happens every now and then. But I mean, don't be expecting 6 TDs a game because that's a bit of an outlier. So you're thrilled when a guy throws 3, let alone 6. So it's probably not going to be happening too much. Before we get to the main segment of the show, we've got a big debate here. We've been talking about this in the group chat for the last day or so. Toilet paper, mullet or beard? What is the proper way to have it? Is it facing forward? Is it backwards? We've got a debate going on at the house here. I don't want to bring it up because it's too fun of a game to be playing. So, Chris, in your house, what do you believe is the proper way for toilet paper to be hanging?
Whatever way it goes on, whatever way I put it on, I don't pay attention. Doesn't matter. Sometimes it's forward. Sometimes it's a beard. Sometimes it's a mullet. It doesn't. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just ripping it off and wiping my butt, and I don't really care enough.
Oh, one of those. All right, old man. Ted?
I got to be honest, I'm fairly indifferent myself, and I think it probably comes down to the type of toilet paper holder you have. If it's one of those ones where you slide it on the thing and it's dangly and it kind of just hangs there, then it makes sense to have it as a mullet because you would sort of grab it and then press it up against the wall with your forearm and rip it off. If it's not, and it's the regular one where it sits fixed in there, I'm probably going beard with that one because you can pull it down real easy and then give it the quick twist. So if I don't care, I'm going to take an analytical approach to it, and that would be my scenario. So it's got to be beard on this one, I would say.
Beard. Okay, Steve.
Apparently, Ryan, we do this show with a bunch of Neanderthals because there is one way for toilet paper to be put on, and it's beard style.
Yeah.
I think by nature, there's actually 2. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, but
there's not.
Have you ever had a proper wipe when it's mullet? I don't think so.
No, it always rips off too early and you get frustrated. So Ryan, as soon as you posted that, I was just dying laughing because we do the same thing, but Alyssa and I know, like we are under the impression that the other one is now just doing it to piss the other one off, or like I'm gonna win this battle eventually, and we're gonna be like in our 80s and still fighting about it. Like, why do you put the toilet paper roll on backwards? Yeah. Why do you put it on backwards? Well,
so
because
have you had the verbal conversation about this?
Yeah, we have.
Okay, so ours is this has been going on for like a month or so, and there's been just no words. It's just been happening. I switch it, and I know because you just know that something's going on, but no one's saying anything. There will be a confrontation. I don't know when it's coming, and I know there's gonna be a big laugh coming out. But
this is a safe place because we all know our wives don't listen to the show.
Ryan, that's fair. You're a beard guy, right?
100%.
Okay, so you're not crazy.
No, I'm not a psycho.
What if you put it on beard way, but folded it in a way so it looked like it was mullet, and then when she pulls it, like that's the ultimate win. You're like, thank you, because she'll think she beat you at that point, and then the second she pulls it and it comes out beard style, you're like, haha, that's next level trolling.
I like that. That's a bit extreme, but I may have to look into that.
I'm pretty petty sometimes, so
I'll go into the lab.
Petty ways to like just be great.
I love it. I love where you're at. I love where your head's at right now.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna bother with these 2 bozos below us on the screen, but it's I'm just like, you guys got to step your toilet paper.
So are you a beard guy or are you a mullet guy?
Beard guy.
I mean, I also said beard, so I don't know what the problem
But
is. here.
you went the long way. Like, I'm going to take the analytical approach, and it's stats.
It was a simple
Yeah, well,
answer.
you can't hang your toilet paper mustache. So let's move on.
Oh, I'd be interested. Maybe a double roll. Maybe that's how you do it. Now it is time
That's where you split the 2-ply in half, and then you just roll one side of it over.
Yeah, I'd say we're doing well enough. I can afford a normal roll at that point. So we're not squeezing out toothpaste either that hard. So it's time for our favorite segment of the show that helps no one stars, Thanos stars, with our good friend Tom. I got 1 day off a week, Brady. Guys, I love it. I got all the clips in here, and Chris, you are because you missed last week. I want to make sure you're caught up here. So, who is your Thano for this week?
This week I'm actually going with a teammate of our guy with all the gems, all the rings. I mean, Tampa Bay's got Mike Evans, they've got Chris Godwin, they've got Russell Gage, they've got just a slew of wide receivers. Just so many weapons for Tampa Tom to throw to. And yet he's going with the old Baltimore Ravens reject, Rashad Perriman.
I know. I couldn't believe that. I had to double check. I said, "You're sure, right?" Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going. Let's check the
Definitely
clip.
helped no one.
It's blocked. Brady looking, firing, going deep for the end zone. It's called for the touchdown. Rashad Perriman.
Look at the timestamp on that one.
I just like Brady could not have placed that ball any better. It was perfectly thrown. Perriman played it perfectly too because he didn't put out his hands until like the very last second, so the DB could make a play on it. It was a beautiful touchdown. I was actually watching that game live when it happened. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "That's my guy."
There you go. Yeah, it's funny how you know too. Hey, like it was a great play. You're right, but you just kind of know. You're like, nope, shouldn't have had that. Shouldn't have been him. It should have been you. Shouldn't have been you.
It also, I mean, I think I had Russell Gage in my starting lineup this week, so there was also like that part of me where I was like, "Oh, is that Russell Gage?" No,
it's not. So it did help no one in that case. It's
giant letdown.
Sucks when it hits that close to home. Hey, when it starts affecting you personally. It's not just we're not just doing this as a show. It actually hurt. So that's what makes this fun. Ted, who do you got?
For me, I'm going all the way back to the 49ers game versus the Seahawks. I think this particular character has been in this spot before, especially on this show. I think it's something he's done over time, and if we're going to do it, it's my favorite pick when it comes to these Thano picks, and that's a fullback. So I'm going to the big man, Kyle Juszczyk, for this play.
Let's check it out.
Davis Price as the tailback. They give it to Juszczyk, and he is in. The fullback pounds it home for his first touchdown of the year.
And he lost his helmet in that. That's rough.
Yeah, I mean, he put the hammer down. Went for, was it Trent Williams? Is Trent Williams the tackle there? I mean, that's a big man that you can get behind. You're moving. There's just no way that you're not going to do anything behind a road grader like that. But I am surprised. I mean, they got, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. I mean, Garoppolo's even a big enough guy that he might take the quarterback sneak to fit in there. So to go to Juszczyk, he comes on the field, what's happening. And you, from a fantasy perspective, just know that there's nothing you can do about this and nobody's taking points for this one. So that helps no one.
Ugh, it's just disgusting. We're going to go with me next. And because I wasn't even sure that this was going to work out. I'm not stealing anybody's claim to fame here, but I did take him first. And I had to make sure this was an actual human being, let alone an NFL player. River Craft. There's no way that is a real NFL name. 1 catch, 2 yards, touchdown. If he helped you, I hope you made so much money off of this catch. Let's watch the clip. Apparently, we got the vaudeville version of that, so didn't bother to check if there was audio. Usually, they just have audio. You just kind of assume that every video on the internet has audio. So it was really fun to watch in silence. You could really focus on that.
That was a nice little spin move there too. I can appreciate that. Happens right when you're Tua. You just make sure you want to try to throw a touchdown to everybody on the roster. So that must have been that.
Yeah, it was not bad when you get your first catch and it's a
like,
touchdown.
There's the Make-A-Wish kid in the end zone.
Like, but he plays for us. He's on our team, right? Oh well, I guess that helps them anyway. That was one of the 6 that he threw, so not bad. My good friend Steve, I know I kind of encroached on your territory with the all-name team. I mean, River Crackraft. Who knew? I didn't. I looked.
It could be pronounced like Craft.
It is Craycraft.
Yeah,
Craycraft.
So when you were talking, Ryan, like, who is this River? Like, I actually know who he played for the 49ers. So I'm like, oh yeah, River Craycraft. I remember hearing that name and be like, who the hell is this? I think he had a catch against Seattle last year, and I'm like, who the hell is River Craycraft?
Yeah, just unbelievable. Yeah. I'm glad I found him. Everybody add him to your rosters immediately. Steve, who do you got for yours this week?
I only knew the pronunciation of that because I was listening or watching the game, and I was getting ready for our baseball game that we were going out to, and I was like,
"Pardon
what?
me?
What? Yeah. What? That's who scored on us. Like, not Tyreek, not Jalen Waddle, like River Craycraft." And I had to like say it a couple times, and I got it mixed up. What a dummy that guy is. I don't like.
Yeah, you know when you're in like a crowd or whatever, and you're trying to get your buddy's attention, but you like don't want to yell Steve because there's like 20 guys named Steve, so you're like, Craycraft.
Can you do that next time I'm in a crowd and you need to get a like?
Okay, it's the done deal. Yeah.
Woo. Yeah, I'm actually from the boys here. I'm taking a little bit of heat, and by the boys I mean just Ryan because he's a bit of a douche and he stole my claim to fame on.
But I'm the cleanest one on the show.
Yeah. So if you remember last week, I had a guy who stole the all-name team. He is the king of the Princess City. I looked this up, and Ryan is so mad that I'm including this. From Mishawaka, Indiana. It is actually nicknamed the Princess City, and we got the king of it, Xander Horvath, 2 weeks in a row.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but let's roll this clip.
Little motion off the fake, pass to the outside, caught, and that's Horvath, a rookie out of Purdue, picked in the 7th round, and he's begun his NFL career with touchdowns in his first 2 games.
McKitty's been on both of those plays too. I've known that guy for the last 2 weeks. Who's this McKitty guy? Wow,
McKitty,
Craycraft, McKitty.
So the reason why I'm picking him is I think it's kind of funny that he has now stolen touchdowns from a high-powered offense 2 weeks in a row. I looked on our sleeper app on Yahoo and on NFL. Not a single person has him rostered. So when we're talking about that helps no one, I did my research and he actually helped 0 people out. And he has scored touchdowns on back-to-back weeks. I think it's time to pick up Xander Horvath.
In just standard leagues, Steve?
Yeah. Would it be okay if you picked up Xander Horvath in our league? Maybe just let you know who you were dropping.
Just like a standard league?
So the ones I was looking at, my Yahoo league is a half PPR.
Oh, no kidding.
Ours is obviously standard. Oh yeah.
So
yeah. Put that in.
What does half PPR means? Ted, I think you remember.
I think it splits.
Oh yes.
It
like
kind of.
paper.
So the reason why I actually really wanted to pick this guy in the first place is all last year and this year we're talking about guys that help nobody and whether you should pick them up. Is there a place in fantasy football for these kind of mishaps like Xander Horvath? Like he outplayed 4 or 5 guys on my roster 2 weeks in a row now. And he could potentially do this on it. We don't think he's going to score 17 touchdowns in the league this year, but is there a place for these guys who are young rookies? He's a running back.
Yeah.
Eckler has an injury history. They clearly like him in the red zone. If anything happens to Eckler, does Xander Horvath become a legitimate fantasy football option? I can't believe these words are actually coming out of my mouth.
Handcuff, if you will.
Stupid, but like, could you guys see yourself picking up a Xander Horvath?
The only thing that hurts Xander Horvath, I think, is the fact that he takes up such a premium spot on your roster, right? I think it's a little easier to go and
your bench is a premium spot
that you're going to start. I mean, we're talking about starting him ultimately, right? Like you're in a spot where you have availability. You're looking at throwing in a running back because it's a bye week. I'm just looking for a scenario where you might start a guy like Xander Horvath, and I think the allure of having all these other running backs that are gonna get touches, or even like the 8 to 12 range or something like that, is, I think that's too appealing to people to go for the home run stretch. That being said, I mean, I was talking about if you got a tight end on a bye and Jody Fortson's available, like, why not just throw the home run swing out there? So, I mean, stranger things can happen. I could see myself doing something like that for a boomer bust. We're talking touchdown, 1 touch, 7 points for a player. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible. Yeah,
I think Chris is interested because the Xander Horvath touchdown outplayed 4 players on his roster this week combined, which also meant you lost. So, Chris, maybe, I mean, this is free advice in our league. I think you should put in a claim for him.
I think you should get me my trophy.
That's true. I should do that. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I am a commissioner. I'm not the greatest one. There is no trophy for that. So I would probably be late in buying that as well. So
let's use the scenario that Eckler gets hurt. Like, I'm just sorry. I picked up or pulled up Ted's team here. You started Donovan Peoples-Jones. He had over 1 receptions. So looks like he wasn't getting targeted. You kept Khalil Herbert last year. He had 4 carries and 1 reception. Why not start a boomer bust guy like that? Like, we're talking in the scenario that Austin Eckler gets hurt. I think when Eckler's there, I think it's too big of a boom bust situation. But like, could this guy turn into a legitimate option just based on the fact that clearly someone in LA likes this guy in the red zone?
It's possible.
If there's availability and you're really that hurting, I mean, at least you know that there's a history of scoring there and there's red zone usage. So yeah, I mean,
you're going on history.
There's always an opportunity depending on how many flex spot you have. Like, you're going to be looking at a pretty shitty bench. It is a guessing game. Like, I wouldn't be keeping a guy like that on my roster. I would say that he would be a waiver wire add and a start in a bye week. Like, it's that situation, I think, because I wouldn't want to have him on my roster and the headache of having to figure out when that 1 TD is coming, right? I mean, I'm already low on hair. I don't want to stress and lose anymore. So
I can loan you some.
Starts to be better.
I can loan you some. I got tons. So let's get into sneaky starts and our good friend Taylor Lewan. He got hurt this Sunday. Any update on him? Did anybody see he got hurt or on Monday night? I apologize. Sorry. He got taken out of the game. I don't think he came back in that. So I'll keep everybody abreast of the situation. Chris, who is your sneaky start this week?
Oh, you're starting with me again. I didn't have the.
Yeah, I want to make sure people remember that you're on the show because you weren't here last week.
I am here.
Okay.
Good
old Chris Collinsworth, eh? Hey,
yeah.
Guys, I'm here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it, guys. I'm
back.
There we go.
So this guy, I wasn't really sure if I should put him in as a sneaky start or a sneaky ad. He kind of fits both profiles, but I'm going with a guy. We're talking about cousin Tua so much in those Miami Dolphins and that offense. I mean, with Tua, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill all performing, it's going to open up opportunities for opportunity. And I think a sneaky start is Raheem Mostert. He out-touched Chase Edmonds this week. He had 79 all-purpose yards. He's the fastest guy in the NFL. I don't know if anybody knows that. And I think there's a lot of familiarity with him and Mike McDaniel from their time together with the 49ers. So I think McDaniel probably trusts him quite a bit to kind of be that lead back, or maybe the 1A to the 1B of Chase Edmonds, if they're going to keep splitting touches, however it may go. But week 1, Chase Edmonds had the most touches out of the backfield, and clearly he didn't impress, because week 2 they let Mostert take the reins, and I don't think he's given it up. So like I said, I don't know if he's a sneaky ad or a sneaky start or a bit of both, but I'm getting him. I would be getting him in your lineups this week and for the foreseeable future, as long as he's leading that backfield and that offense is performing the way it is.
I mean, it's early on too. That's the kind of, we talked about this last week. If you can get in on a guy early enough, he doesn't necessarily become a bell cow. But
okay,
you know what I mean? You take advantage of before, a guy gets just popular enough that you're going to try to be reaching for him somewhere else, but you can get him while he's free.
I'm just having a look at his matchup for this upcoming week. Maybe I should have put him in sneaky ads instead of sneaky starts, because he has Buffalo this week. So maybe cool your expectations for this week. But he's got a real sweet middle of the season schedule.
You get a bonus ad, then we'll give you a buy.
Yeah, he's a bit of both, like I said.
That's all right. Steve, who is your sneaky start this week?
This one's gonna border on Ryan territory here, like being kind of like Captain Obvious. Like, of course you should start this guy.
Najee Harris, I know.
Are you starting Saquon?
Yeah. My sneaky start is Garrett Wilson, and top high level first round pick. Seems like a no-brainer. In NFL.com leagues, he's only rostered in 26% of the leagues. So I was kind of with Chris here. I didn't know whether to put it as an ad or a start. I looked in our sleeper app. He is owned in 61%, but he only got started in 8% of leagues. So he had 52 yards the first week, which is, it's nothing spectacular, but it's solid. And he followed that up with 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I think it is time to start trusting Garrett Wilson is the number 1 wide receiver that you can start week in, week out. And hey, if you're in one of the dumb leagues and nobody has him, go get him and start him this week.
That's the best part. Those dumb leagues. I mean, I'm the dumb guy, and
I'm referring to our league.
I'm referring to our league. I try to feed off of you guys, make sure I get in on that. Who do I've got here? I decided that I was going to be smart about this. Sterling Shepard. We were joking about Saquon, but 21% rostered. This is based on our sleeper app here. 7% started. Danny Dimes, 6 for 10. So he targeted him 10 times, 6 catches. Didn't have a lot of yardage, but when you're getting thrown at 10 times in a game, you're getting opportunity. And an offense that definitely is starting to spread the ball a little bit. Again, you're early enough. These are the kind of guys that you can put as your absolute last flex spot. Or, I mean, I'm saying start this week against Dallas. Who knows what's going to happen in those games? It's New York and Dallas, so those are always fun. So,
I mean, made a trade for him. That's how excited you were for this.
I was so excited. I traded for him.
Trade for this.
Yeah. So, you know what? I mean, why not go after him? Sterling Shepard. I mean, he's a pretty decent receiver, but again, he's being trusted in that offense. Like I said, you get targeted 10 times in a game. It's one thing to get 10 touches as a running back, but they're targeting you 10 times as a receiver. You're going to have to take notice of that. I mean, it's opportunity, right? He got 6 of those. So let's say he gets 2 more. All of a sudden, those are plays that maybe end up in a score. So go for opportunity. It is definitely the point of this whole segment. So my man, back in the day, Sterling Shepard. Ted.
Well, if you know me, I generally follow the targets. So for me, I'm going back to the Cardinals, and I'm going to pick up Greg Dortch for this one. And I would even go as far as spending, 10 or 15% of my fab bucks, depending on what your wide receiver situation is looking like. Rondell Moore is out, remains out, probably going to be out for a while. Nobody really knows how long. But he's looking like the clear number 2 option there. I mean, he's already outpacing Green, which is kind of a big deal if you ask me. So he's a diminutive guy. He's fast. He's speedy. He kind of plays that like Sandlot style ball that Kyler Murray likes. And it's very obvious that Murray likes following, that guy around and throwing him the ball. I mean, we're looking at 14 targets already in the last 2 weeks. He's only owned in like 2% of leagues this year. And I would probably be looking at starting him in a flex position anyways, let alone having him on your bench. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay, but it's looking like it's going to be a player that you can have at least on your roster for the next few weeks while Moore is out.
Nice. Well played. See, I feel like I'm stealing from all of you these ideas, all name, team, targets. It's coming. I'm coming for you next, Chris. So it'll probably be a Seahawk next week, most likely.
Or you'll just show up sounding like Batman. your choice, man.
Where do I start?
Dealer's choice, buddy. Dealer's choice.
I like it.
He's just going to show up at your house like during the pod and just like throw punch you.
Man,
maybe it'll make it better. I don't know. Maybe it's
you'd have to go a long way to make that happen. So that actually would frighten me. If someone broke through that door and punched me, I'd probably scream. So maybe next week. Look forward to the show. That's all the more reason to tune into week 3, folks. Let's get into sleepy ads, the return of sleepy ads. And one more thing. Here's a picture of Ted in a nice little.
Can you give us the recreation of that?
It just gets better and better and better. Sorry, the recreation of that is what we wanted. Ted, could you just give us recreate the face for that? Can you do it? That's not bad. Not bad. Can you look towards the camera right a little bit more?
This is why he's a real model. He can do it just on command. You're like, look over that way.
Done. Ted, who's your sleepy ad this week? He's on mute.
He's a model, idiot.
Welcome back.
I also can't turn left, so that's an issue. Yeah, I don't know where my note went on this one here, but my guy is Brian Robinson. You know, they're in rough shape over there in Washington. You know, I don't think Antonio Gibson is the answer. I think he's proven that he's not the answer over the last couple of years. I think he has good stretches and puts up good games, and then there's always like fumbleitis that happens or something like that. I don't think the organization seems like they're super committed to him either, hence the Robinson draft. Gets shot in the offseason. He's already working in agility drills. It seems like he's starting to practice with the team. He's going to be out until the end of at least week 4, so you can start him by week 5. If he's not on your roster right now, he probably should be. So if you're playing in one of those dumb leagues, go out and get your boy. Because you're looking at him in like 50% availability. So what's the worst that can happen? You can take a guy like this.
I'm going to add him right now.
What's the worst that can happen though? You can add a guy like this. You could probably even stick him on your IR if you have a league that has an IR slot. So you can't even take up a roster spot when you pick him up. So I think eventually he's going to steal this job from Gibson. I just don't think that slot, I don't think he's that great. I'm not super high on Gibson. I don't think he shows anything that's going to take the ball away from Robertson once he gets going. So I think that would be my sneaky ad this week. Go do it before it becomes a hot trend.
Well played. You're such an IR slot, Ted. Just be nice.
You got to utilize the roster, right? That's the way it works.
Steve, who would you like to sleepily add this week?
I can't believe I'm actually going to pump Ted's tires a little bit here, but here we go, making bad decisions. So I'm pumping Ted's tires because my sleepy ad was his ad this week, and I thought it was great. It made a lot of sense when I saw him pick him up. I was like, oh, man, how did I forget he was still available? So NFL.com leagues, Corey Davis is available. He's only rostered in 10.7% of the leagues. In our sleeper app, he's owned in just 19% of the leagues. He has been having himself a start to the year. 77 yards in the first game against Cleveland, 83 yards and a touchdown. He looks good. My boy Joe Falco is going back to his Flacco Elite days, and he is slinging the ball and destroying the Browns at the same time. Corey Davis looks like he could be 1A or 1B with Garrett Wilson. So I went back-to-back New York guys here. Who knows how this is going to look when Zach Wilson is back as the quarterback, but they've shown enough right now to show me that their offense is kind of for real. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. They beat up on a good Browns defense. I think the Browns defense was projected to be one of the top ones in the league. Obviously, there's a couple mishaps with Nick Chubb scoring when he probably should have just went down and killed the clock. But, the offense had to come back and score quite a few points in under 2 minutes. And, make sure you're – heck, both of my guys could have been ads or starts this week. Get yourself Corey Davis if you don't have him, and then start him.
Well done. Well done. Great homework, Steve. I'm very proud of you.
What happens to Flacco when Wilson comes back? I mean, he's looked really good. I mean, I'm not sure that he's going to obviously continue this pace. He's going to play against some better defenses. There was like a ton of blown coverages and huge mistakes and going on in Cleveland in that game, like to the points where they're talking about, heads rolling in a fireable offense. So that being said, he is that veteran quarterback that can take care of those huge miscues, right? I mean, that's kind of what he's done forever, especially against those AFC North teams. So I don't know, man. I think he's trying to make a case for himself. I'm not sure he's the guy that you want to pull out, even though he seems like he's like 4 years past his expiry date here.
He's like Frank Gore of quarterbacks.
If you're the Jets, you hold on to him in case something happens to Zach Wilson. Or I'm sure you can get like a mid-round pick for a guy that wasn't part of your future in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, I'm sure he'll be a backup somewhere, or he will have that kind of, if a guy like Matt Ryan goes out, I could see the Colts calling New York and picking up another veteran guy who, can like Matt Ryan. He doesn't have the mobility. He's past his prime a little bit, but can make those smart plays when a defense gives it to him. Like that would be the perfect fit for him if something were to happen to Matt Ryan.
There you go. Chris, who are you adding this week?
I'm kind of piggybacking off of Ted's idea here as well. And getting ahead of the curve, going after a guy who's going to be coming back. He tore his ACL in the national championship game last year against Georgia. And of course that's wide receiver Jameson Williams for the Detroit Lions. He's out for at least 2 more weeks, minimum. But he's back out. He's running. He's doing cuts again. He's getting ready. Sounds like, maybe back within, let's say, 3 to 4 weeks. Who knows? It's hard to say right now, but if he's running and cutting, that's obviously a good sign. I can't believe I'm going to say it. Jared Goff is actually playing really well right now for Detroit. He's got the sun god, Amon-Ra, just lighting it up out there. Only guy on my fantasy team that's actually performing. So yeah, like Ted said, get ahead of the curve, get in front of your league mates, and go pick up a guy that nobody's thinking of yet because he's still a couple weeks away from being able to come back and play football.
So I gotta praise Chris's his keeper of the year, basically. When Chris told us in our fantasy football league that he was using one of his roster spots to keep Amon-Ra, I was like, okay, like I feel like he was a fringe kind of keeper for me personally, but it's going to show that was a wicked pickup. You sent me that text. You're like, St. Brown is a stud. He definitely is that next class of like top wide receivers in the league. It's so fun to watch.
You found out about him on the show.
I don't want to go like too far out of on a limb here, and like Amon-Ra looks so good, but it might not be that different than the Cooper Kupp ad last year for a guy that was not kept in a lot of leagues, picked up and then went on to just do everything in the NFL. So I mean, he could be that guy this year, and it's not out of sight for him.
Yeah. Another little factoid or fun fact, if you will, Chris, with Jameson Williams, it looks like in our sleeper app, he is only owned in 44% of leagues. He's started in 2% of the leagues.
I saw that.
He's on the pup. He can't play. Like Chris said, he can't play for another 2 weeks. Yet someone is starting him. Like, that is the
I had
ultimate.
to put someone in.
Isn't that the ultimate Thano guy?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Whoever those 2% of the people are, I really hope they're watching our show and being like, oh yeah, guys, I've got the ultimate guy and I did it. And he literally didn't help me because he couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like more start percentage than Xander Horvath.
Right.
I'm just looking at the Lions' schedule. If I was guessing, I would say Williams is back week 7. No need to rush him back for week 5 against New England. They're on their bye in week 6, so I could see him coming back after their bye, if I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I think
let's not
you have to be out for 6 weeks anyways, right? So
4.
oh, is it just 4 now?
Yeah.
4, yeah.
And let's not forget that this guy, this was the athlete receiver of the draft, in my opinion. I mean, if he's not hurt, it's very likely he's the first receiver taken off the board. This guy is a freak, like an absolute freak. So just watch out when he finally takes the field.
Love it. Did you know that there's another St. Brown in the NFL this year, and I decided to take a flyer on him in my other league, Aquinimeous St. Brown plays for the Bears.
It's his brother.
Yeah, they scored a touchdown on the same day, like an hour apart, which was
no kidding.
Pretty cool. Yeah,
it's his brother.
No way. Anyway, so I took a flyer on him. Actually, ended up getting me 4 points in our other league there, but 3%. He is not my ad, but just fun fact. It's got me a nice, handsome little 4 points. My ad this week is the guy that took over after that freak injury, Jimmy G. I know that sounds stupid. He is not rostered in a lot of leagues. I think he's 7% rostered in our sleeper app there, and I think like a 3% start. I mean, obviously you wouldn't expect to start him, or 1% start. He's playing for a contract, and it is the 49ers, and I'm not saying that he should be your go-to guy, but put him on your bench, stash him away. Someone's going to need a quarterback, whether it's bye week time or whatever, and you're going to be able to steal away. Probably it doesn't even matter what the pick is. Maybe it's a 17th rounder, who knows? But you can rest assured that you're going to get something for him, and you might need to start him yourself. Jimmy G isn't a terrible option to have on your roster. If you can afford to stash him away in some of those deeper benches, I wouldn't say he's a must-have, but I mean, he's going to be the guy for, well, likely the entire season. So you just inherited a starting quarterback if you were lucky enough to have him a little bit early. I mean, you're still going to be able to get him in a lot of leagues, but take a chance on him. Worst case is, I mean, you do have someone better, or best case, you have someone better, but Jimmy G does not suck. So I think there's a good chance there that you may just, in fact, find yourself with some points on your team, unless you're Chris and you're 0-2 to start the season. That was a fun week last week. Hey, you and me, big guy. Yeah. It's just so. You're really ruining this for me. You're really ruining this. It's
I can't hear you over all my trophies.
It's my absolute job to not act like anything bothers me, so fuck off.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm trying to be a pro like this guy. Sorry.
Wait. Is that my dude?
Yeah. That was a shoulder.
Sorry, Ryan. My 2 championship rings are plugging my ears. I could not hear you.
I think those are earbuds. That's okay.
You need more of a French accent.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Completely different sport. That's okay. Hey.
Batman's not French. Sorry, Ted.
I don't know. That's not bad. That's not bad. Boys, we've filled in. Nobody decided to comment in there, probably because we missed out on one of the ads for our stream, but that's okay. That's okay. If you guys missed the live show, bonus at this point in the podcast, you're going to realize that you're now listening to a podcast. So make sure to download the podcast version of this amazing show on Apple and Google and Spotify. Hey, you're listening to a podcast. Don't pull over and turn it off. We don't care about your local radio stations. Tune into these yahoos talking.
It's a goddamn podcast.
What is this? Audio from my phone that I downloaded previously. Make sure you guys tune in every single week. We got some good advice from these guys this week. I also did an order for some cool little things we're going to give away when they show up. We got stickers because everybody likes stickers. We got some pretty cool ones coming. I'll show you again because I put those up really quickly. Our logo, we got to update our intro, I think, too. So it doesn't have the old logo on there. But yeah, we're going to have those. Hopefully we get a few other things and we can start giving some stuff away, because on our other podcasts, we apparently tend to do that from time to time. So you guys, any final words for That Helps No One Fantasy Cast? Steve? That's good. It's Chris?
Yeah, football's a cruel mistress.
It is a cruel mistress. I'm happy I don't actually have a team, so I'm not as sad as the other three of you.
I'm all good, man. I'm so like just like riding it out this year. I don't even care about football this year.
Wow, this is
if you ever needed a reason to listen along, and you just had it right there.
Everyone, you love football? I don't.
I don't know if you saw my tweet. Like, I'm literally just watching Seahawks football to watch it. Like, it's just.
I think they're doing the same
why?
thing.
Like, why is it because they're not very good this year? I could give you some tips on how to enjoy football when your team's bad. I have low expectations, so I'm just watching it because that's what I do on Sundays, and it's football season. I don't know, man.
You need a hug or a puppy.
That should be the plan there, right? Like, I mean, they got the win that they needed, right? They got the one you want, and then just like, yo, Pete, just relax for the rest of the year, and let's just coast into that number 1 draft pick. We got the win we wanted. Like, let's just lock it up.
Let's just develop the young guys now and just like have some fun.
There you go.
Stay healthy. Everybody love everybody.
That's cool.
And we're all good, man.
That's awesome.
LIVIN.
You should be a motivational speaker.
I'm
or like smokers or something.
Be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Model Ted, any final words?
No, man, I'm good.
Okay.
Do you have a quick blue steel?
Or that good?
That last one's my favorite one.
That's pretty good. That I've seen him do that so many times on the ball field. Just kind of like.
Did you steal that, Ted? Did you steal that hat?
Yeah, you're supposed to give those back.
I must have just walked off with it in my head. I don't know how that happened.
It was just a promotional shoot, man.
Well, I hope they're not watching.
Clowns, you're gonna get me in shit.
Walk off.
All right. On behalf of these goofballs, Steve, Ted, Chris, myself, I'm Ryan. This is That Helps No One Fantasy Cast on the Dean Blundell Network. Good luck in week 3. May you get some points that you'll be happy about.